The scale of $1 billion is really crazy. So let's say 1 grain of rice is equivalent to 100K, and 10 grains of rice would be then a million. Well, how much is a billion? So my Saturday night consisted of counting 10,000 grains of rice, one by one, just to show you guys how much $1 billion is. Of course I filmed it, and of course I time-lapsed it, and this is playing at, I don't even know, God knows how fast it's playing at, but... So now I'm proud to present to you the results. That is $1 billion, where each grain of rice is worth 100K. Look how much rice this is, guys. That's crazy. I just bought you like a Lamborghini right here, and I didn't even notice it was gone. Here's a $5 million house in California, and oh look, I still have all this money. Well, a lot of you guys asked me, well, how much does Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos have in terms of rice? So that was my mission, and I went to Costco. I got the rice, I brought it home, and once I brought it home, I went to work. I also want to say that I have 5 families that are going to take this unused rice, so it's totally not wasteful. Okay, so the moment you've been waiting for, 100K, 1 million, 1 billion. Jeff Bezos has 122 of these, or 58 pounds of rice. If each grain of rice was 100K. Like, look how big this is, guys. I'm gonna show you the scale here. I'm gonna put a keyboard in just for fun. Look how deep that goes. That's insane. This is Jeff Bezos' new house that's $145 million in LA. And then, oh my God.
Jeff Bezos is a man with a lot of money. At the absolute pinnacle of his drug empire, Pablo Escobar was worth an estimated $59 billion in today's money. In September of 2020, Jeff Bezos' net worth exceeded $204.6 billion, more than 3 times the amount of wealth that Pablo Escobar ever held. Understanding just how enormous of a fortune $204.6 billion actually is quite difficult for the human mind. So in this video, I'll be doing my best to put that insane level of wealth into perspective for you. Let's begin with this map. Haiti, Madagascar, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Republic of the Congo, Burundi, Uganda, the Central African Republic, Cameroon, Djibouti, Sudan, Chad, Niger, Benin, Togo, Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia, Syria, Afghanistan, and Ukraine. Nearly 270 million adults representing 3.5% of the human population versus Jeff Bezos, a single man who has more wealth than every single person living in all of these countries have combined. Jeff Bezos' wealth is so astronomical. Imagine for a moment that you were immortal and you got a job that paid you $8,000 every single hour that you were alive. If you first got this job at the time of the birth of Christ and were continuously making $8,000 an hour every single hour that has ever happened since then across more than 2,000 years of history, you'd still not have anywhere near close to enough wealth as Jeff Bezos has. On July 20th earlier this year, in 2020, Jeff Bezos' wealth increased by over $13 billion. In a single day, Jeff Bezos' wealth increased by more than the entire annual GDP of Madagascar, a country of over 26 million people. To put his overall wealth into even more perspective, Bezos' total fortune of over $204.6 billion is more than the entire annual GDP of Indonesia, the world's 16th largest economy and home to over 267 million people. It is also more than double the combined net worth of the entire British royal family, which is presently valued at around $80 billion. But enough with comparing Jeff Bezos' fortune with countries and monarchs. Let's compare his wealth to something a bit more easy for all of us to understand. The base price of a 2019 Toyota Corolla is $18,700. Jeff Bezos' fortune, if converted into pure cash, would be enough to purchase 10,941,176 of these 2019 Toyota Corollas. Corollas. If Toyota concentrated 100% of its factories and production into only producing Corollas and nothing else, it would still take the entire company over an entire year to produce that many for him. Let's think of his wealth in another sense. The average American worker earns a salary of $49,764 per year. In order for the average American worker to save up enough wealth to match Jeff Bezos, they would have to work for 4,111,405 years. Put into another perspective, Jeff Bezos has added $70 billion to his wealth over the past 12 months, from September 2019 to September 2020. That means that over the last year, Jeff Bezos accumulated $9 million every hour, $149,000 every minute, and $2,489 every single second. Now, start a timer from September 1st, 2019 to September 1st, 2020. In just the first 9 minutes of this year, Jeff Bezos gained more wealth than the average college-educated American woman will in her entire lifetime, and in only 15 minutes, more than the average college-educated American man will in his lifetime as well. 27 minutes into the year, and Bezos has already gained more wealth than the average American lawyer will in their entire lifetime. 45 minutes into the year, and he's already gained more than the average American doctor will in their entire lifetime. Just 5.5 hours into the year, and he's already gained more wealth than the entire net worth of David Solomon, the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Within the first 8 working hours of the year, he's already gained more wealth than the entire annual GDP of Tuvalu. By the end of day 2, his wealth has already increased more than the entire net worth of Beyonce. By the end of day 3, his wealth has increased more than the entire net worth of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. By the end of the first week, he personally gained more wealth than the entire annual profits of Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Wing Street all combined. Within the first month, he, personally again, has gained more wealth than the entire annual revenue of GameStop, a corporation with 56,000 employees. 2 months in, and he has acquired more wealth than the entire annual GDP of Zimbabwe, a country with over 16 million people. And finally, by the end of the year, he had acquired $70 billion, an amount of wealth that's largely equal to the entire annual GDP of Venezuela during the same year, a country with over 28 million people that controls the largest amount of proven oil reserves anywhere in the entire world. And all of this isn't even close to being halfway there to all of Jeff Bezos' fortune of $204.6 billion. Even compared to other historical figures from American history, Jeff Bezos is still extraordinarily wealthy. Adjusted for inflation today, Jeff Bezos is even wealthier today than Henry Ford was at the time of his death, and is roughly equivalent in wealth to Cornelius Vanderbilt during the Gilded Age in the 19th century. The wealthiest man to have ever lived in modern history was John D. Rockefeller, who at the time of his death in 1937 was worth an estimated $418 billion adjusted for inflation today, nearly double the wealth of Jeff Bezos. Rockefeller was so enormously wealthy that his net worth was equivalent to 3% of the entire United States GDP at that time. However, Rockefeller died with that net worth at the age of 97. Jeff Bezos has roughly half that amount of wealth, but he's only 56. In my opinion, it's very probable that within a few years, Bezos will not only surpass Rockefeller's wealth, but will likely become humanity's first trillionaire as well. Here's how. The average annual rate of return in the stock market is around 6% per year. If Jeff Bezos simply maintains that average rate of return on his wealth, then he will surpass the net worth of Rockefeller within the next 13 years when he's only 69, and he will become humanity's first trillionaire within the next 28 years when he's 84. It's very reasonable to assume that the world's wealthiest man with access to the best healthcare imaginable will survive to 84 years old, and by that time, it's probable that Bezos will have accumulated an entire $1 trillion in wealth for himself. $204.6 billion is an incredibly difficult amount to visualize, but what's even more incredible is how rapidly Jeff Bezos has acquired that much.